All right. So I think we're live and I think you can hear me. Can you hear me? Let's see. Testing, testing. 1, 2. Yeah, probably. This is my first time doing this, so I apologize for the newbiness. So I wanted to kind of go through my 47-hour fast. It was going to be 48, but I didn't start until 9 o'clock p.m. on Sunday, and technically I finished the fast on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. So didn't get the full 48. So I decided to call it a 47-hour fast because I didn't want people thinking that I did a. I would know. I would know. So why did I do the fast is kind of first why I want to talk about fasting in general is I eat a pretty healthy diet, and when I say that, I mean I eat meats, as in steak, chicken, fish, and then also I eat vegetables and I eat carbohydrates like potatoes, quinoa, rice. I do those, and then I eat like a lot of nuts. So it's pretty much like a paleo diet. So I eat pretty healthy for the most part. But, there are occasions where I have what I call a treat meal, and I, definitely go a little overboard sometimes on the treat meal, but it's nice because it kinda resets me and allows me to get ready for the next week, and it kinda gives me, like, a little carrot to get put out in front of my face to make me want to eat healthier during the week. So with that being said, with this fast, I am 32 years old and I feel like I'm still an athlete. I played rugby and football growing up, and I am not in any type of season right now. So I thought this would be a good time to try the fast. I mean, fasting has been huge in the health and wellness world over the past, 4 to 5 years. We're going away from like trying to figure out what the most high tech food we can eat is, and just being like, hey, not eating is might be one of the best things you can do for over your overall immune system, your overall health, anti-aging. There's a lot of things that fasting can help you with, and there's a guy named Dave Asprey who wrote a book about fasting. He is one of the um, he started Bulletproof Coffee and the Bulletproof brand. And he actually wrote a book on fasting, which I haven't read yet, but I listened to the podcast with him and Tim Bellew. I think that's how you say his name. And fasting can mean so many different things for people. And so this fast for me was just no food, just water. And I had lemon water and some salt on Monday, on the Monday for the first fasting day. But other than that, it was just pretty much water. So this was a no food fast for me. It was just water. The next time I do a fast, I'm probably going to get some potassium, magnesium, and sodium to supplement because you need those micronutrients for your body to function pretty well if you're going to go longer than probably 24 to 48 hours. And guys like Lex Friedman and George St. Pierre have done 72-hour fasts recently. And George St. Pierre says that he does a 72-hour fast every quarter of the year. So every 3 months, he does a 72-hour fast, and he feels really, really good after he does them. And then Lex Friedman just did a 72-hour fast. So I was like, I'm going to jump on the train. I've only done a 24-hour fast before. So this was definitely a new adventure for me. And I'm going to walk through how I felt, and then also, well, let me tell you the benefits of fasting first, so you can determine if it's something that's right for you. By the way, this light is super bright, and this is my first time doing this, but it's hard to concentrate a little bit, but I'm trying to. Um, so fasting in general is going to be very good for your overall blood glucose levels and actually stabilizing your blood glucose levels so that your body becomes more insulin sensitive during that time period. So, When you think about fasting, intermittent fasting is a huge thing in today's world, and intermittent fasting can be anything that considers like 12 hours or less of fasting. All right. Or sorry, 12 hours or more of fasting and less than a 12-hour eating window. And we won't get into too much. I'm not going to get into too much about, Sachin Panda's work down at the Salk Institute about fasting. But basically, on a normal basis, you should be fasting from around 12 hours or more. Okay. And so that means you have an eating window. So the time where you start eating and the time you take your last bite of food of 12 hours or less. And this really helps regulate your blood sugar and also allows your body to digest the food that you're eating throughout the day, and then allows your organs and your body to rest throughout the night and really repair itself. All right. Like your intestines are always throughout the day, probably digesting food and always working. You need to give your intestines and your stomach time to rest and rebuild because that helps your body absorb nutrients more over the long period of time. Um, Also, we as Americans do not eat the healthiest of diets sometimes. So when you eat a lot of processed food that has a lot of chemicals in it, or you're eating just foods that aren't really, very beneficial from a nutrient density standpoint for your body, it takes a little. Your body needs some time to repair, and that's your intestines, your stomach. We talked about that, but also just from uh, a mental clarity standpoint, it's actually been very beneficial to do a fast. So I'll tell you, like this is my first time ever doing a live YouTube video, and it was after a fast. Like I think you start to have a lot more time to think about things, and you start to slow down a little more and understand that you can get a lot more work done, and also um, you're a lot more focused whenever you do a fast. And so it allows you to understand that you don't have to be eating constantly. You don't always have to have something like in your like eating in your mouth. That can be construed in certain ways, but um, so I think for me, it really allowed me to take a step back and appreciate eating the food that I, normally eat throughout the day, but also understand like you can go without. So I'm going to go into there's different stages of fasting, and there's always, some people have, four stages of fasting, five stages of fasting, six stages of fasting. Well, th- for the most part, it's like I'm going to break down what happens. So in that first 4 hours after you eat a meal, let's just say, let's go through my progression. So I ate dinner uh, Sunday night, or sorry, I ate dinner Saturday night. I said Sunday night, I think earlier. Yeah, I got my days mixed up. I ate my last meal on Saturday night, and I stopped eating at 9. So for those next like 3 to 4 hours, my body is trying to regulate its blood glucose levels. It's digesting the food I just ate. And then hopefully after around those 3 or 4 hours, my blood glucose has kind of like stabilized and I'm starting to feel normal. As in, like when I'm asleep, my body's not really processing too much food because if you eat too close to going to bed, you're going to not be able to process too much food because your body's worried about sleeping and not digesting food. So then the next day, um, when I woke up around 7, my body had been fasting for nearly almost 10 hours, for 10 hours. And so when you get into that 8 to 12 hour range, they say that your body starts to tap into some glycogen storages, which are in your liver for the first part. And then you also have glycogen in your muscles, which your muscles are ready to use those whenever you are about to do anything from a strength standpoint. So your body starts tapping into the glucose, or sorry, the glycogen in your liver first, and you start depleting that. And then after about 12 hours, they say you start to burn more fat. Okay. So after a 12-hour fast, it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't feeling too hungry because I ate a huge meal the night before. So I think my body was still like processing some of food. But they say after about 12 hours, you are starting to burn more fat. Your body switches over to burning fat. Now, this is a little different for everyone because everyone has different body types and different metabolisms. But they say around that 12-hour mark, you start to burn fat. And basically, now you're starting to try, your body's starting to try to get into ketosis if you're going to have a more prolonged fast. So I knew I was going to be fasting for upwards of 48 hours. So I think mentally that, and that has a lot to do with it too. Mentally, I knew that I would be fasting for a while. So I basically knew that I couldn't eat any food. So my body's like, okay, well, if we're going to be fasting for a while, then we're probably going to be burning more fat storages because he's not going to be taking in any calories or nutrients to be able to convert that to glycogen. So body starts burning fat around the 12-hour mark, 12 to 18 hours. And then they say at the 24-hour mark, autophagy, which is basically autophagy is a Greek term for self-eating. And autophagy means that your body is really clearing out a lot of the bad cells in your body and replacing it with good cells. So, like, think of a street sweeper coming in at night and basically clearing out all the stuff in the streets, and then you feel like then the street looks good again. So, hopefully, that was a decent analogy. But this happens after 24 hours, and so your body starts regenerating cells in the body, and it gets rid of the old cells that are kind of like um, not as healthy cells. And so then your body starts not producing as much ghrelin, which ghrelin is a hormone that makes you hungry because now your body is starting to realize, like, I'm not going to be eating, so I don't want to keep producing something that is making the person want to be more hungry. So it's like a give and take. Like your body starts burning the fat and producing less ghrelin. So now you feel a little more comfortable. So I didn't start getting super hungry until probably later at night. I actually went and played like sand tennis or pickleball, however you want to say it. And so that was probably not the best thing to do, but I wasn't planning on doing that. But one of my friends was like, "Hey, I want to go to the beach and play some pickleball." So I was like, "Why not? Don't get to do it often." So that probably accelerated the timing in which I got into autophagy slash like ketosis because whenever you exercise on a fast, your body's actually going to speed up the time to where it goes, okay, I need to get in fat burning mode slash ketosis because I know this person's not going to be eating for another 24 hours. So I want him or her to have energy for these next 24 hours. So went to bed Sunday night, kind of hungry, not super hungry, but I woke up around 5 o'clock in the morning. I was thinking about a lot of stuff, but I was also pretty hungry. And to expound on that a little bit, your body actually has a rhythm, like circadian rhythm, but also this thing called an ultradian rhythm. And you have a lot of ultradian rhythms in your body, but one goes with a cycle of eating. And every 3 to 4 hours, our bodies are pre-programmed to want to eat another meal because it takes about 3 to 4 hours for you to digest, and then your body's ready to eat another meal. Now, depending on what your eating schedule is, your body will actually start to produce saliva and hormones to get ready to ingest food at certain times. So right now, on a regular basis, my eating window is from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So around 10 o'clock, I start to actually get pretty hungry. Before that, I'm not as hungry. And then if I actually skip that 10 o'clock window and go to like 11:30, I'm not actually as hungry. So at 10 o'clock, my body starts to get a little hungry. So now we're at the next day. We're at 24 hours was 9 p.m. on Sunday night. And then we hit the like 30, 34 hour mark the next day around 7 a.m. So now I'm really into the autophagy stage of fasting. And now they say that studies show that growth hormone is heavily produced um, during this time. So HGH, human growth hormone. So you're actually building muscle after the 36-hour mark, between the 36 to 48-hour mark, which is kind of cool. And you start to not be as hungry. Like I definitely wasn't as hungry from 7 a.m. to around 12 to 1 p.m. On Monday. And I didn't start getting super. I started to get a little tired around 2 to 3 p.m. on Monday. So it was around like the 40 to 42-hour mark for me. I started getting a little hungry, or sorry, hungry and tired. And so I distinctly remember I was driving somewhere and my brother had to go inside to the grocery store to get something. And so I was sitting in the car and I was just like dozing off because I was kind of tired. And I think part of that too was I wasn't hydrating as well on Monday as I did on Sunday. So when I, went to pee one time, it was very, very dark yellow. So I knew that I was probably a little dehydrated. So I drank a little water, and that I think that helped a lot. So then after I went to a practice coaching for my brother's football team, and then did just a very, very minimal workout. I did some pull-ups, some push-ups, and some curls and some dips. Basically at around like 5 o'clock, because I didn't want to go home and have to wait 3 hours before I had my first meal in 47 hours. So then I was starting to get hungry. And then around like 6 and 7 o'clock, I was making my food to get ready to eat at 8. And that was really like interesting because I wasn't as hungry then. Now, if I was going to go for 72 hours, I would definitely have magnesium, potassium, and sodium in like some type of pill form, probably, if I was going to go longer to take. But since I only did 47 hours, I wasn't feeling like super dehydrated or tired and stuff like that. I only got a little tired around the 1 to 2 p.m. mark. So fasting, that first meal was incredible. I was definitely thankful that I could eat again, and the meal just tasted amazing. It was actually a chuck roast steak with sweet potato and broccoli, and it tasted amazing. And I had some barbecue sauce with mustard with it. And to be honest, I like it. The meal was incredible. And then I had some, nuts and some cranberries for dessert, and the meal was just awesome. And I think during that meal, I stopped and paused a couple of times just to like really enjoy each bite a few times, because and I was thinking about this during the meal. There's so many people out there that go without food a lot of times because, one, they just don't have the money, and two, they don't have the means to get food. So as a white male in America who has a good job and has money, it makes you feel very thankful to be able to eat food on a regular basis. And then with that being said, like, I enjoy really, really good tasting food at different restaurants and and then making good food as well. So fasting for me really allowed me to have better focus during the day, and then also think deeply on, what food means to me. And it also makes me a little more conscious about, hey, I actually can go without a meal here and just try to make it to the next meal. And it was definitely a challenge. It was not easy. And I am looking forward to probably 2 or 3 months from now trying a 72-hour fast, because it's a challenge. And it was fun to be able to say, like, I fasted for 47 hours. And when I told my buddy who I was playing pickleball with that I was fasting, he was like, dude, are you not dying? Like, are you not, struggling really hard? And I was like, I fast already for about 14 hours every day anyway. So a 24-hour fast wasn't that bad. It was the next 24 hours that I was kind of interested to see how I would react. And I know not everybody has the capability of fasting. Like there's women who are pregnant or breastfeeding, or people whose jobs make them like are really really strenuous. So it may not be super beneficial for them to fast during the day, but try to pick a time. So I picked to start on Sunday because I knew I was going to eat my treat meal on Saturday. All right. So knowing I was going to eat my treat meal on Saturday, I was like, okay, Sunday will be not bad because I don't have to, I don't have to work super hard. And then Monday, it'll be harder, but it'll be more doable because it's earlier in the week. And I'm not tempted to like basically get tempted by a lot of food towards the end of the week when people want to go out and eat good food and stuff like that. So I tried to time my fast up with time with Sunday and Monday because I knew it would be easier for me to do it those days. So yeah, I enjoyed doing the fast. I will definitely be doing it later down the road, but I'll be doing it. I think they've said this a few times with magnesium, sodium, potassium as supplements to keep me hydrated, keep my brain function high. And I highly recommend fasting. At least doing. I'll go ahead and call it intermittent fasting, but basically it's time restricted eating. It's having an eating window that is 12 hours or less, and that's during the day. And one thing I will say is, fasting is a tool for health. I wouldn't use it as a crutch. And what I mean by that is a lot of people will think that they can fast and eat whatever the heck they want and be like, well, I'm fasting, so it's balancing it out. It's balancing it out where people eat like crap on, Monday through Friday and then maybe fast, or Monday through Saturday and fast on Sunday. And they go, well, I'm fasting, so it's going to balance it out. Fasting is a tool that can really, really benefit your overall health and just can challenge you. And so don't use it to say, I'm going to eat bad and then I'm going to fast and those things cancel each other out. Use it as like, all right, I'm going to still eat pretty healthy for the most part, during my eating window and, 80 to 90% of the time, but I'm going to use fasting as a way to have more mental clarity, to really do a lot of regeneration in my body from a cell standpoint, and also just have a cool experience that's going to push me to do something I normally don't do. So those are the things I want you to think about is like, why are you fasting? And are you using it just to say, okay, I eat like crap, so I need to fast to make it better? Or you're saying, I want to fast because I want to challenge myself to go, thinking deeper and doing better things for my body, not just to like balance out crappy eating. So that's me. Definitely consult your doctor before doing any type of fasting if you're going to do a prolonged fast or any type of fasting in general. And yeah, this was just my journey of fasting. I hope it's helpful to kind of go through it. There were definitely times where I was hungrier than others. Staying busy and having things to do throughout the day really helps you not think about eating. And you don't want to like go run a marathon or anything, but having little tasks that you're doing, folding clothes, washing dishes, doing work, those little things definitely help throughout the day. So I hope this was helpful. Um, and good luck on your fasting journeys. And yeah, have a good rest of your day. Thank you.